tonight.
You don't want to see me.
Preston.
When relationships are put to the test.
I'm gonna marry you one day.
Is that supposed to impress me?
I'm heading back to London tomorrow.
Will the sisters follow their heart?
How are Zach seeing each other? I just don't want to be in the middle. I'm just jealous.
You are in love with that man.
At all costs?
You are so wrong. I have had your back through everything, and this is how you moving?
Tyler Perry's Sistas.
All right, Sisters fans. I'm not complaining. Trust and believe, I'm not complaining. But I have to say, I have no idea why they have released a new promo for tonight's episode with new scenes or extended cuts of scenes and new dialogue. There's just so much to dissect from this particular trailer. And of course, this is the third iteration of the promo. We had the 15-second promo. We had the 30-second promo that came out, what was it, either Saturday or Sunday? And now we have this additional 30-second promo for a one-word answer. So before breaking it down and trust and believe, I have thoughts, but I know a lot of people, especially Zatima fans, are going to be dragging Karen by the hair because this trailer made her even more annoying than normal. Like, I've kind of vouched for her on certain things, but I've also made it clear when I don't agree with her character. But make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Also, please go ahead and hit subscribe. We're getting like a little closer to like 33% subscriber watch time, which is great. So I've noticed it go from like 73% at the beginning of the month all the way down to about 68, 67. So you all are answering the request, so I appreciate that. Hit the bell icon and select all. Sometimes people have told me they've had to unsubscribe and resubscribe to the channel in order to get notifications. Other people said they were unsubscribed by YouTube without even knowing it. So please make sure you hit those two buttons and follow me on social media. Links are in the description below, because trust and believe, with these surprise promos we've been getting, I don't know if this is a trend that's going to be continuing each week. Do not miss these breakdown videos. I could be wrong, but I know other channels talk about sisters. There are other channels that upload the promos, but as far as I can tell, and feel free to let me know if I'm wrong, I think I'm the only person who actually does the breakdown of the trailer. So here we go. In the middle of a makeout session between Karen and Aaron, she calls out the name Zach. And this could be in relation to what Aaron says in the other promo about you have some things you need to work on. And she's like, oh, and you don't? So I feel like this leads into the synopsis for the upcoming episode. I think it's Unknown Caller. I did a video on that synopsis. That's the one that has Karen, Aaron, and Zach as the thumbnail. And oh man, people agree with me in the comments. Yeah, I'm already pissed off reading the synopsis, Jeremy, because that's the one where Aaron suggests that Karen talk to Zach to kind of, I guess you could say, release those feelings, not sexually of course, but basically resolve any kind of issue with Zach. That way she can move forward with him or anybody else for that matter. But I just want to speak from experience. You know, I feel like a lot of us have seen these quotes, you know, floating around the internet about how sometimes we don't get the ending we want, regardless of it being a happy ending or a, you know, tragic ending. We just don't get closure. Sometimes you just have to move on because you don't get the conversation you wish you had. You may have had a crush or a relationship that went wrong and you were broken by the experience while the other person was able to just walk away and move on with their life. And that is a real feeling. And that's why, even though this show has plenty of flaws and this season has been the worst, I've said the promo for this episode makes me feel like this is going to be the kind of episode that makes all the men look like jerks. But that was the first 15 and the 30-second promo we got. But this promo makes it seem like, well, yeah, the women aren't exactly, you know, playing in a clean pool themselves. Okay, that doesn't really make sense, but it just means that at least this seems like it's going to be evened out, where the women are going to be in the wrong as much, if not more, than the guys, or the guys will be reacting to how the women have been treating them. So while I felt that initially this episode might be one of my least favorites of the series, let alone the season, this promo has me intrigued because I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this could be one of the standout episodes. But I just feel like Karen should just let go and trust and believe. This is my first video I'm recording today. Wait until I get to my house to paying review from last night, because Miranda, I will get to her soon enough. But, you know, I know from experience, you know, what is it like, engagement, wedding, baby announcement season? You know, some people that broke my heart from back in the day, I see them posting now. I was like, yeah, 5 months we're getting married, or this is our 3-year anniversary, and that hurts because it makes me mad to like see people who left me tarnished and broken and chipped, if you will, and cracked, while they moved on, and guess what? They found love. They have a family. So I can get Karen's way of reacting, but I don't like how things turn out in the next scene, which is towards the end. Now, clearly this is the next day in the morning, you know, probably when everybody just got to their jobs, and Karen's on the phone with Andi, and she's saying, you know, what's going on between Zach and that girl? Are they really together? You know, are they official? Which leads me to believe that while the girls at that night around, 6 o'clock, they're supposed to go to Sabrina's, I guess Andi does not say whether or not Zach and Fatima are a thing, because I think Danny's the one that asked her the question. But Andi says, look, I don't want to be caught in the middle of this. And then Karen claps back, I've had your back through everything, and this is how you move it. So basically, I think Andi might actually be in the good graces of Zatima fans because of the fact that she does not interfere, because that was one of the biggest things fans were mad about. It's like, okay, in the promo, the girls kind of ask Andi what's going on, and then of course, you know, Andi's asking Karen, oh, are you still into Zach like that? It's just one of those things where it would just suck if Andi spilt the tea on Zach and Fatima, specifically Fatima, because anytime Fatima even tries to mention Karen's name or say anything like, you know, me and Zach, we're kind of moving, but at the same time, he can't stop saying this and that about Karen. And then Andi gets mum mouth right there. She goes, she just like sucks in her lips like, like, that's my best friend. I won't betray her, so I'm not going to say anything. So if Andi did say something here, I would say maybe it's because Karen is her ride or die friend, but Fatima has been growing closer to her in friendship. Not to mention, I'm not saying Karen has not had Andi's back. Now, I still stand by what I said, what was it, in the first part of season 3, that Karen had every right to walk out of that wedding, because, you know, just because that's your best friend doesn't mean you have to stand for the bullshit. So I feel like Fatima has, you know, held Andi down as well. She was there to scare off Jasmine and her girls with a gun when Andi was being jumped in the parking lot. She hid incriminating evidence that probably would have pinpointed Andi in the whole FBI investigation during the beginning of season 2. I know that Gary was cleared of all charges, but whatever Fatima put in her dress or her pocket or whatever, that stuff probably would have gotten Andi arrested, even if temporarily. So I don't even think Andi knew that Fatima did that unless she told her. I don't recall. But as fans, we know Fatima has had Andi's back a lot, even if she hasn't been friends with with Andi for as long as Karen. Just putting that out there. Now, speaking of Zach, he's telling Fatima, I'm gonna marry you one day. And then Fatima's like, is that supposed to impress me? So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I don't think that Fatima accepts the invitation to move in with Zach. I just think that overall, I was reading the comments on one of my videos. I think it was the one where I did the first 30-second promo we got, and people were saying, yeah, Zach is moving way too fast. He needs to set himself up, get used to the Bachelor atmosphere. That doesn't mean having women running all through his new house, but, establish his own space, enjoy it. Look, just not trying to make everything about me, but that's my idea about whenever I get a house, because I am in no rush to get married or start a relationship, have kids. I just want to bask in the idea of my own home, my own space. Yes, I've had 2 different apartments with roommates, but we both had our own rooms. And yes, those were like the biggest rooms I've ever had. Not in college because, roommates slept in the same room, but I'm talking about my own individual room. In both apartments, I had the master bedroom. Excellent. I love them. But I'm talking about from like the front door to the back door to the roof, I'm talking my own space. I want to enjoy that for as long as possible before I even attempt to get a quote unquote roommate for life, which would be a wife, or roommates, which include the wife and kids whenever we have them. So I think Zach needs to slow it down. Get yourself right. You got the money, Zach. You got a good game plan, but make sure you're able to stand on your own first. Just because you have the means to support another person doesn't mean you have to do it right now. Like, it's different if, let's say, if you had close family that held you down back in the day and you want to help them out. It's like, hey, let me get you a new car or whatever, a parent or a close cousin, somebody that was really there for you when you were going through the trenches and you want to pay them back. But this is a woman you're just starting to get to know. This is a woman who said she's literally falling for you hard, but I'm starting to become vulnerable, and you're just moving things way too quickly, way too fast. You just got out of a 3-year relationship. And some people have, interestingly enough, said, I'm not saying Zach isn't feeling Fatima, but one could argue that he's moving a bit too fast just to kind of get away from Karen that much quicker. And that doesn't mean Fatima's a rebound, but the way that was worded, it really made me think. Okay, so Robin tells Andi that he's heading back to London tomorrow. So I think the synopsis I did yesterday was for season 3, episode 17. The one where Andi has a bit too much to drink and calls Robin. So I think that happens before Robin goes to London. Like, maybe she gets drunk thinking about Gary, dealing with a Gary situation, and she doesn't want to be alone, so she decides, well, Robin's going back to London tomorrow. So I don't think there's any harm with having sex before he goes. Give him something to remember by. Hey, Robin, remember when you said we should have sex just so you would have something to remember me by before you went back to London? Let's do it. I think that's what's going to happen. Then from there, I think there's only 2 more things to talk about. Well, we do know Calvin's going to go over to Sabrina's place while the girls are there. And that's when he's going to be like, look, I'm going to see who I want to see. And Sabrina's telling Maurice at the bank that, so it looks like, like I've said for months now, or weeks, because the show wasn't gone for that long, Maurice and Sabrina would be fine. They wouldn't be killed or shot during the robbery, and Maurice would keep his job. Sabrina told Maurice that she's jealous in regards to, Calvin being in that room with Peggy. But then Maurice takes it a step further and says, you're in love with Calvin. And I think that in the initial trailer back during the Sistas after show, she says, you don't have to be in love with somebody, Maurice, to be jealous, okay? So then the last thing is, so in the other trailers, it looks like Preston is waiting for Danni to get home from work, which I believe she gets home after going to Sabrina's. And then that's when he's like, what do we have in common? What do we do together? And then he doesn't have a shirt on. And she's like, I don't like this. But I'm pretty sure they're going to have sex, because it looks like the next day, Danny's still in bed. And then Preston's like, you don't want to see me. And then she's like, Preston. And then he leaves and she makes a funny look on her face. So I'm willing to bet Preston is, there for Danni. But then Danni just screws it up and then that's it. So she's going to do her thing with El Fuego, and that's about that. I mean, that's about it. But yeah, that's all I have for the third promo for One Word Answers. I'm intrigued to see where this episode is going to go. But now I'm just even more pissed about episode, 15 or 16, Unknown Caller, where it's like Karen tries to talk with Zach because of Aaron advising her to do so, because Aaron just needs to realize, bro, the woman said she's still in love with Zach, or still, because they were together 3 years. She's calling out his name. She's done that a few times while they were in bed together, not having sex, but, hey, I just want to lay with you. It's too soon for you to be back at your place alone after the whole, Fawn's brother trying to kill you and Zach getting stabbed thing. Anytime they were like just laying together, he would say you were calling out Zach's name in your sleep and this and that. And now in the middle of this makeout session, she's literally saying, Zach, Aaron, move on. You're telling Karen you need to talk with Zach to resolve things so you can move on. Aaron, let Karen go. This ain't the time. Maybe a year or two from now, I don't know. But then again, I feel that even if Aaron left and Karen was on her own for real, that means she would probably go at Zach even harder. So that's all I have to say. This promo, my goodness, I know this is going to rub people the wrong way, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As I mentioned before, make sure you take a moment to like and subscribe. Those things really help the videos and the channel as a whole. And if you want to donate, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.